Welcome back. The topic is the time management. Today we learn Chapter 4, Part 2. 4.9 Turning Pressure into Purpose. One of the most hidden forms of time theft comes from inner pressure, the feeling that you always need to do more, to work faster and smarter. Pressure rarely comes from outside, but rather from within. The voice telling you that you're not putting in enough effort, that you're not being productive enough, that you aren't far enough along. That makes everything a test of your value and takes away your joy. Pressure pushes you into hurry. It makes you feel the need to cram yourself with appointments, sacrifice rest, and judge your worth based on your accomplishments. You may see immediate outcomes, but ultimately, it is not sustainable. Pressure exhausts you. Purpose energizes you. The solution lies in shifting from pressure to purpose. Change your perspective from trying to prove yourself to making something. Start asking, what am I making? Rather than what will they think? Allow your time to be guided by your values and not your vulnerabilities. Purpose gives us presence. When we have purpose, we have clarity on our why. We can take time to breathe. We can say no without feeling bad about it because we know what we're saying yes to. We stop living life by comparison and start creating it. You don't have to live under pressure to make progress. You just need to live on purpose. 4.10 The Time Integrity Test. Time integrity means your actions match your values, not just your intentions. It's easy to talk about what matters to you, but the real test is your calendar. Does your time reflect what you say is important? If not, you may be experiencing a time integrity gap, and this gap is where time thieves do their best work. The time integrity test is simple, but powerful. Take out your top 3 values or current priorities. Then review your last 7 days. How much time did you spend on each one? If the answer is not much, don't judge yourself, just notice. This awareness is the beginning of a better way. Next, determine what it was that filled the void. Were distractions, urgency, people-pleasing, or avoidance factors involved? These are your thieves. Speak their name. Finally, make the necessary adjustments for next week's schedule, planning the activities that are important to you first, before all others. Time integrity fosters self-respect. It transforms the phrase someday into scheduled. Time integrity can assist in closing the gap between what you want to be and who you actually are. This means that you will be able to review your week without feeling any regret. If your values aren't part of your time, then they aren't going to be a part of your results either. Integrate integrity into your time management, and things will be transformed. 4.11 Self-check. Catching the thief before it strikes. Time thieves need to remain hidden from view. You see them when you're tired, distracted, vulnerable, or detached. But after recognizing how they operate, you'll be able to prevent them from stealing more time away from you. This is what the last section of Part 1 is all about. The check-in only takes 60 seconds. Ask yourself, am I doing what I intended to do right now? If not, what pulled me away? Is this moment serving my priorities or stealing from them? These questions build mindfulness. They help you recenter before time slips away. You might be in the middle of a project and feel the urge to check your phone. Pause, do the self-check. Or you might agree to a last-minute request. Before saying yes, self-check. The more you build this habit, the less power the thieves have. Eventually, this becomes automatic. You start noticing your own patterns. You catch yourself before you drift. You recover faster. This isn't about perfection, it's about presence. Time is too valuable to guard passively. Use the self-check to stay awake, stay aligned, and stay in command of your minutes. 4.12 Awareness is your best defense. Time bandits need your lack of focus in order to thrive. They live in the nooks and crannies of your daily life, siphoning off your time in bits and pieces without you even noticing. Of course, when you get out of bed in the morning, you don't intend to squander your day, but when you're not paying attention, your hours are whittled away one interruption at a time. And that's precisely why awareness is your best defense. Awareness does not result from any feelings of shame or guilt, but is born from an observant attitude. Begin observing what exactly happens during the day that causes you to drift off from your meaningful activities to distractions. Who or what invigorates you, and who or what saps your energy? When are those times when the days tend to disappear effortlessly? Write everything down. Observe yourself without criticism or any sugarcoating involved. Patterns will emerge. You'll become familiar with instances of false urgency, indecision that prevents progress, overcommitment that causes schedule overload, and comparison that lowers self-confidence. What you see is not lack of motivation but alignment problem, the actual cause of time wastage. As you find out how time is being leaked, you can now address the issue and make some changes in your life to prevent further leaks in the future. But everything starts with self-awareness, because it is impossible to do something about what you fail to recognize. Awareness isn't a one-time exercise, it's a daily practice. A habit of asking, is this the best use of me right now? When you train your mind to stay awake to your time, you become your own protector. 4.13 Restore trust in your time decisions. It is very easy for one's confidence in their decisions to be eroded when time has been stolen from him/her, through external forces or internal ones. One doubts his/her abilities and makes him/herself feel guilty about the time lost. Guilt will not bring back time. Only trust can do that. Building trust in one's time decisions means regaining faith in his/her abilities to make the right choices. Building takes place through grace. Who you are is not your past habits. Who you are is not your past distractions or missed appointments. Who you are is an evolving individual. Each time that you honor your principles, you restore your integrity. Each time that you keep a promise, no matter how small, you reinforce your integrity. Begin by making a small promise to yourself. I will work diligently for 25 minutes. I will turn off my computer for 1 hour. I will go for a walk at noon. Keep these promises as though they were promises made to a close friend. As you do, you begin to restore your inner integrity. Instead of someone who is trying to manage time well, you become someone who actually does. With the increase of self-confidence in time management, you begin to develop self-confidence in all walks of life. In time trust, it is you that becomes the answer and not someone else. It is not about being perfect. It is about making the right choices and remaining loyal to yourself at all times. 4.14 Create a protected calendar with boundaries and space. A protected calendar is not a fully booked calendar, it is a protected calendar. Too many people use their calendar as a suggestion book rather than a protection tool. Their calendars get filled with meetings, calls, appointments, and invitations until their day turns into a labyrinth. Time reclamation starts with protecting your calendar, not filling it further. Start with figuring out what your deal breakers are. What absolutely needs to be in your week for you to have alignment? Could it be creative space, deep work, buffer time, between meetings, family dinners, or alone time? This isn't about adding them on after your schedule is filled. Schedule these items before anything else. Then, build in breadth, space between commitments, white space for the unexpected, time to think, pause, and reflect. If your calendar leaves no room for life to happen, it will always feel like a source of pressure. Boundaries protect your focus, but breadth protects your humanity. You are not a robot. Your time should reflect that. Say no to that which is out of place. Say no to that which does not align. Say no to that which no longer has a purpose. And do not fall into the trap of proving your worth in the amount you can squeeze into a week. Your schedule is not a sign of your self-worth, rather, it is a key to freedom. Your calendar will be in alignment with your soul when time once again becomes sacred. 4.15 Developing decision-making muscles. The everyday thief feeds off indecision. It takes its toll in ways we don't think about most times, more than just in lost time, but peace, energy, and confidence lost. Gaining control of your time means developing decision-making muscles. Sound decisions begin with sound priorities. The moment you understand what is important, everything else starts falling silent. You stop being dragged in all directions, as you have already decided where you want to go. Don't wait for clarity, wait for sufficient clarity to act. Not all decisions need perfection, they need progress. Learn how to make small decisions fast. What to wear, what to eat, what to plan. Learn how to make quick decisions without getting lost in overthinking. Gradually, that approach will spill into bigger decisions. You will trust your intuition more. You will overthink less often. And you will be able to get back up quickly after a failure, as your sense of self will not be based on perfection, but on action. Create a filter for decisions. Ask yourself, does this take me further? Does this serve my purpose? Is this going to matter in 6 months? This kind of filtering cuts through any fog and prevents you from wasting yet another hour on choosing between options that do not deserve your time. Each decision you make builds confidence. And it is confidence that is the main thing time thieves are afraid of. 4.16 Disarming urgency with systems. Once you have a good system in place, urgency loses its influence. If you do not have a good system, everything is always an emergency. From one task to another, you are always reacting, always playing catch-up. But if your life is structured, if you know how to respond to incoming requests, repeating tasks and surprises, then urgency is not going to be your main focus anymore. Systems aren't about controlling your minutes. They're about deciding ahead of time what your time should be spent on, so that you don't have to start every day anew. Mornings, planning by week, batching and template responses are all systems. All of these provide the freedom of mind to concentrate on your true priorities without distraction. Defeating urgency requires systemizing the very things that keep distracting you. Set limits on communication, such as reading emails 2 times a day, or switching off messages during the time of intense work. Develop checklists for the repeated tasks that take up mental effort. Utilize auto-responses where necessary. It's all about your design. Additionally, develop a recovery system. If the day gets overrun by urgency, having a reset system allows you to start fresh. It can be as simple as a brief walk, a question to refocus yourself, or even taking 5 minutes for breathing exercises. Such systems do not need to be complicated. They just need to work. Once you've developed these systems, you will no longer be at the mercy of your email, your notifications, or anyone else's schedule. You become the designer of your time. 4.17 Make your no a new beginning. It is not the end, but just the beginning when we use the word no. It is because every time we deny an action which goes against our priorities, we are actually affirming something more aligned. People do not use the word because it makes them feel guilty, rejected, or failure. It is because people have been made to believe that one should always say yes, even if it means giving up their time. A defined life needs the establishment of boundaries. They should be created with strength and shared gracefully. This is what happens when we deny our distractions, unrealistic opportunities, and unreasonable deadlines. A powerful no is all about clarity. This isn't me, and this isn't important to me right now. This isn't about being judgmental or superior. It's about alignment. By learning to say no clearly, you teach people that you are worth trusting. You learn to stop explaining and apologizing. And if saying no is difficult, redefine its meaning. Saying no to them isn't really saying no at all, it's saying yes to yourself. You aren't missing out on anything when you say no to others, rather, you are gaining something much more valuable. Fear not the no. Honor it.